YouTube. It's Star Wars Paladin, and it's 1 minute away from being Sunday morning. And you know what that means? It means it's time to read the PTS forum on swtor.com and watch how everything's getting ignored again for another week in a row. They wiped the forums and all they're talking about is balance. They refuse to talk about anything else. So we're going to go over the PTS forum, and then we're going to go to another couple forums. We're going to not spend a lot of time on this. But since, just whatever. I don't know. I don't know why I even bother anymore. But you guys keep watching this stuff, and so I'm going to keep doing it until either I quit this questionably sustainable game, or whatever happens. 2.9 launches in about 48 hours. Okay. As of today, as of the last patch, nothing has been fixed in regards to strongholds. Not a single thing that we brought up last week. Not a single thing that we brought up the week before. There's only been 3 things that have been fixed. If you can even call it fixed. Which is, they swapped out one item on the Dark Project, which is meaningless. And they, arguably, the guild ships, guild strongholds disappear less. And, made Legacy Vaults a little cheaper. A lot cheaper. They did add a little bit of Collector's Edition stuff. A little bit. Nothing for security key users, nothing for pre-order people, nothing for the digital Collector's Edition, though. But the CEers did get a statue, so that's one tiny step in the right direction. Nothing about the NPCs in the strongholds. They're still at 25. Nothing about the holograms. The stupid hologram thing. Maximus is talking about hook size stuff. Tons of examples of how the hooks just aren't intelligently placed and aren't the right sizes. I ran into the same thing. Let's see what let's see what Snarf has to say. Yeah, you don't even know how close you are to unlocking decorations and stuff like that. It's really stupid. I agree with you there, buddy. Let's see what's on page 2. They wiped almost everything, so it's a good thing that I was still recording it. And that I keep recording it, because who knows when they're going to wipe this one. Actually, I said they updated the Dark Projects to a different resource. Actually, they said they did, but they haven't yet. I believe that's because PTS doesn't have the last 2.9 changes that they're working on their dev server, but that could just as easily be because they haven't actually done anything. Even though it's the easiest change. You can still exploit the Nar Shaddaa stronghold and jump down. However, you can't decorate it anymore. I wanted to read this one. What's this one about? Yeah, you can't send keys to your offline players. That's so freaking stupid. It comes up with this error message that says either they're in the other faction or they're offline. That's if it's your guild ship. If it's your private one, it just says that user is not online. A bunch of people talking about balance, because this is supposed to be a balance patch, but spoilers, Star Wars isn't meant to be balanced. I've told you guys that 1,000 times. Stop wanting this game to be balanced, okay? The Jedi and the Sith are meant to just slaughter 95% of everybody else, okay? Only if you are really, really good should you actually be able to stand toe-to-toe with one. So, and as it stands, Marauders are pathetically weak. Most of the Sorcerer/Sage classes are incredibly weak. There's only a couple of viable builds right now. And then you got jugs walking around like freaking giant football players in a room full of tiny people. So, whatever. I'm so sick and tired of all the elitist PvP sheep morons dictating how the game's going to be played. So a lot of this has to do with supposed balance. What I wish everybody would do is just come out and say, BioWare, we don't care about PvP balance. Just be honest. Say, buff my character because of this, nerf this character because of that, but forget balance. Forget it. This game would be 1,000 times better if they would forget about balance. Forget about it. It's never supposed to be balanced, okay? Snipers should be able to shoot you from 100 yards away. Who cares? They should be able to shoot you from 300 yards away. Get over it. Get over yourself. Sentinels and Marauders, there should be specs where you can dodge, parry, or everything if you wanted to. It's just, but they care too much about balance, and they're wasting basically a whole entire patch on balance. It's a massive waste of a patch. So let's go to general discussion. Because since the other forum was wiped, I think everybody figured, let's just talk in general chat, and hopefully they won't wipe that. And if you notice, check this out. This is where everybody started talking about. Apparently this is from Gamescom. The 25 NPC decoration restrictions very likely put to improve performance, but they do not know for sure. Oh wait, before I talk about this, the crash at loading screen has not been fixed. The freeze at loading screen has not been fixed. So unless and that was as of Friday. Tate was on and said it hasn't been fixed. There's no ETA, only that quote-unquote they're looking at it, and that's it. Which means, as of Tuesday, I fully expect, I don't know what, 1 in 3 people, 2 in 3 people to be hanging pretty much every single time they log in, by the way. Unless they fix it coming up into Tuesday. Because that's still messed up. And I haven't read anything about the crashing either. I've been crashing out of TOR at least once per day. And so is everybody I know. But anyway, the 25 MC decoration restriction limit is very likely, blah blah blah, improved performance, but they didn't know for sure. Also, they said it's possible they may raise this limit in the future if they find the servers can handle it. So, what do the servers have to do with that? Anyway, so to improve performance, why not change the limit of folks visiting the strongholds? I've actually read this suggestion several times. Why don't just cut down on the visitors? And I completely agree. I'm never going to have 50 people in my stronghold. I'll probably never have more than 2 people in my stronghold. So, Other people, they may want more, but that's up to them. That's not my issue. So there's no way that this 25 NPC limit, though, there's no way it has to do with performance. It's just a number that they pulled out of their ass, just like every other number in this entire game that they've ever come up with is completely pulled out of their ass. And basically, this is just tons of people agreeing with them. I'm honestly, I'm sick and tired of posting on the forums. Oops. Because it's just, I get so freaking upset. By the way, this game's not pay to win. People are idiots. Somebody asking to put mobs on the Corellia lockboxes. I assume that's because people are farming them. Yeah, the botters just sit there. That's not going to fix it. They need to put some kind of code on the box or something that bots can't solve. That's what I would do. I think it'd be funny as shit. And then put a couple mobs there. So as they're sitting there fumbling around, the mobs just kill them. What kind of gear and augments? I think Raiders need to remind a Flashpoint isn't an op. I assume this is because people have been absolutely spazzing out lately. People have been really major uber freaking spazzes about Flashpoints lately. I got into 2 or 3 arguments with people last night over just stupid things. There was this healer queued as DPS, and she didn't have a DPS suit. She wasn't DPS spec. She wouldn't go over to DPS spec. It was infuriating. There needs to be a player ranking system. People bitching about the 50 million thing again. What I don't understand, is why they don't let people have personal, editable ships, and then get rid of the whole conquest requirement. Period. The conquest thing, that was just a troll move by BioWare to force people to do all the damn dailies again. Freaking ridiculous. Everybody said this was going to happen, and I'm not. And I don't. They're not surprised that it happened, and I'm not surprised that it happened. They're frustrated because BioWare's not listening. Jelvik is a rare vendor that sells the Rackle event stuff. He's the reason for the plague. That's funny. I love it when people throw RP stuff in there. Let's see what else we got. Thornor vendors are gone. Although I think most of them are on Nar Shaddaa, except for Jelvik. Yeah. All of them are on Nar Shaddaa except for Jelvik. This is an interesting question. Are guild ship prices finalized? We still don't actually know if they're going to be 50 mil. And that sounds really stupid, but remember, BioWare has no communication with us. It's entirely possible that Tuesday could hit and they could be 35. I always thought 35 was a good price. There could be all kinds of surprises. They could lower the price of dark projects. Who knows? Do I think they're going to do any of that? No, absolutely not, because they pulled the numbers out of their ass and they're too stubborn and proud to fix them. What's this about? Yeah, I doubt it. I've heard this before. I've heard that before with other games. We didn't get any developer responses during 2.9 PTS because the team was too busy on getting ready and couldn't spare a few minutes. Oh, bullshit. Dark Project prices are working and intended. They're supposed to... Oh, no. No, that's... I want to watch BioWare try to get Dark Projects and then tell us that that's how it's supposed to work, because I don't think it's working now, and I already talked about that yesterday. Let's talk about that for a split second. Number one, the mats to make Dark Projects are a joke. It would take 38 years or something like that, give or take, to craft a Dark Project. Killing commanders only gets you one minor framework for the entire group, unless that's a defect. And there's no evidence that the conquest rewards actually work right now. So I don't think Dark Projects are working as intended, and I don't think the frameworks are working as intended, or at all. So cross-server PvP is not coming in 2014. Yeah, but they are working down some other rated PvP stuff. They talked about that the other day. They keep saying there's supposed to be an expansion this year. They've said it like a million times. They've been saying it all year. And we're heading into September and haven't said anything. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised about this. The reason why I'm not surprised about it is because they love to wait until patch before they tell anybody anything. It's total bullshit. Of course, there's the 25 NPC thing. Stronghold reactivation thing is ridiculous. This is a funny question. I've wondered this before too. How close is TOR to developers' vision? I think the answer to that is it depends on which developer. The main goal is to allow people to live out their Star Wars fantasy. Bullshit. Then why can my sniper only shoot... why can he shoot no further than a gunslinger with an itty-bitty pistol? Don't give me that shit. Why can't I play a sorcerer that actually puts people into real nightmares, like you see all throughout the game when you're scripted events? Why can't I play a Jedi that can actually fully dodge and parry like they can in the books and the other video game? Don't tell me I can live out my Star Wars fantasy. Otherwise, my companions wouldn't be holograms. Otherwise, I could have more than 25 pets. Stupid bullshit. Is 2.9 a complete expansion, or is there going to be early stages? 2.9 is a complete expansion. No, it's not. Don't give me that. Hood toggle. Yeah, I keep reading them bringing up hood toggle. Is TOR canon? No, it's not. It's obviously not canon. So, it wasn't on that chuckle crackhead George Lucas's canon list. It's not canon. People don't want cross-server, especially for flashpoints and ops. But cross-server for Warzones, I think, would be just fine. Anyway, they either need to do that, or they just need to make free transfers. Will there be another paid or boxed expansion? Yeah. In the next few weeks. Which, by next few weeks, it probably means next few months. because they're going to milk 2.9 for as long as they possibly can. Training dummies and strongholds are coming eventually, probably not too. But here's the thing: they just said that 2.9 is complete, but then they say that dummies are coming, but not with 2.9. So 2.9 is not complete. Don't believe for a second. They did the same thing with Galactic Starfighter. You're going to see new shit coming out in September and October, and then they're going to sunset the team. Unless I'm completely wrong. It could be even worse than I thought. They could have already sunset the team 2 weeks ago. Maybe that's why there hasn't been any talk about it. Maybe they're gone. Maybe they got let go. Maybe they're already filing unemployment. Maybe they're on another project. Maybe we literally are getting nothing else with Strongholds. I have no idea. Because they're not communicating, telling anybody anything. Oh, healing and tanking dummies are in development. They're just difficult. No, they're not. They're not difficult to implement. You just make a mob where they've got 1,000,000 hit points in certain intervals and they count down. It's not that hard. So stupid. Nothing is nearly as hard to develop as they're acting like it is, and I'm so sick of hearing that. Galactic Starfighter doesn't count. That's a Galactic Starfighter, for all intents and purposes, is a completely different game. And Strongholds is easy compared to the alternative, which was to just let us build everything using the dev tools, which would have been 1,000,000 times better, but more difficult. Whole giant thing on Dark Project mats. By the way, there's a shit ton of people on my ignore list because they're just idiots. There's so many damn idiots on the forums. 2.9 brought out some of the worst rules I've ever seen. Encouragement to compete in the form of a yawn fest. Let's skip ahead a little bit. There will be a race to be a world first and server first to fully unlock a flagship. I expect we'll see a world first full flagship unlocked before the release of 3.0. I don't believe that. And the reason why is because I'm still not convinced that you can actually get that many dark projects or minor frameworks. Unless somebody finds a way to spawn the greater frameworks, the bigger frameworks, and I think Bob and I talked about this the other day. If you made a list, which there already is one, although it's deleted, but hopefully somebody saved it. If you made a list of every commander, and you went down the list, you got your team, your 16-man gank squad together, and every 6 hours went and killed every single one of them. As long as, I guess, a couple of them dropped a framework, and you could get everybody to donate it, which is, I don't know, maybe you can do it. But there's so many greedy people out there, even in your own guilds. Maybe you could, provided they were the framework you actually needed. Sooner or later, what's going to happen is you're going to have tons of frameworks that you don't need. So I don't even know how that shit's going to work. So, no, don't tell me that we'll see some kind of world first full flagship unlock before 3.0. Maybe if the guilds got together and traded the major frameworks around, said, oh, you
Channel Bob, hi.
Oh, there. Hey, Channel Bob. Can you hear me? Can I hear you?
Hello. I can hear you, mate. I thought you was doing a video, so I thought I'd keep quiet. Back in 5.
Yep, no problem. So I bet that's what's going to happen. I bet the big guilds are going to have to get together and trade those. Yeah, and they're not talking about how the notes, the drops will get adjusted. And that's what I've been thinking all along. The drop rates are so screwed up. There's a blurb about drop adjusted. Yeah, and they had been talking about these exotics, like the drop rates of the exotics changing, but I never saw those change. They were talking about how they were supposed to drop from hard modes. And nobody brought that up. So, which reminds me, they also weren't talking about how decorations never dropped from anything either. But again, how are we supposed to believe a bunch of stuff we've never tested? See, this is the shit I'm talking about. It's like, no matter who does the math, and no matter how many times you do the math, it's gonna take years and years and years. This person's wrong, by the way. Unless they change it. You need a dark project to get one of the lessers. You need 50 lessers to get a greater. And they can't. Well, they can drop a completed framework directly, but we have no idea what the drop rate's supposed to be. In fact, I don't recall reading a single time where anybody got a completed framework from a commander in all of PTS. And like this person saying, we don't even know how hard it's going to be to hit top 10. And we don't even know how hard it's going to be to qualify in a guild that's in top 10. We don't even know how many planets there are going to be each week. We don't know how many people are going to have guild ships. So he says there's depends on when 3.0 hits, but the cost of capital ships unlock in frameworks is 2,700. So 142 characters hitting their conquest would be required each week to get it in that time. It's doable in a large guild if you can get 142 people or characters to qualify. Which was like 35,000 conquest points per character. Yeah, 30. Okay, yeah, 35. So if the number of planets and planet average does not exceed large guild on the grind, 60-person active guild would need to grind 310,000 points per person per week. If not, no progress. And that actually sounds about right, because that's around about what the top 3 guilds had on PTS. They're, well, it was somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 in this, before they shut the servers down. So if you're one of the absolute top guilds, then I guess by the end of the year, if you're doing your conquests properly, and if you can get all those people to actually donate their minor frameworks, you could actually theoretically, in a couple of months, that's so bad. There's like no way you can get a guild to focus on anything for like a couple weeks. Let alone, I mean, guilds are dropping off faster than that. Anyway. And plus, what do you even get if you deck out your guild ship? It's just a bunch of rooms, and it's still it's still tied to a guild that you have no control over. Yeah, and there's only 13 planets total for conquest, because the rest aren't shared. Because that would be... They would never do that whole shared planet thing, or non-shared planet thing, because that wouldn't put in their whole PvP trolling plan that they've got. They need to just put in new content. Crane and Barrett, and put in new content. And this isn't open world PvP development, it's just trolling. Fucking idiot. This Millions Knives guy's always got a lot of smart stuff to say. Yeah, nobody's grinding that long. You know what I think you'll have is you'll have like 3rd, 4th, 5th generation guild members that'll like join your guild, and they'll still be helping you get your guild ship up. Because you'll have like lost and gained so many freaking people. There'll be like no original people that'll even remember you getting the ship. That'll be so bad. They'll be like, my great grandfather was working on this guild ship back in 2014. No, because this game's not going to be around more than 2 more years, the way it's going. But I was talking to one of my guildies the other day. I'm all for this if there was actually content associated with these rooms. Like, for example, if you unlocked the engineering bay, it gave your ship more powerful shields in guild ship PvP. You know, or if you upgraded the weapons room or the turret rooms or whatever, it made your turret stronger so you could shoot down the other team's galactic starfighters that were trying to take your ship down. But it's not. They're just empty rooms, and we don't even know what they look like. Just know what they look like on the map. Yeah. Those stupid starship decorations cost dark projects. Those things are ugly. Back again. Reading.
So
what?
What you been talking about then?
Oh well. So what everybody did was, since the and I knew this would happen, and it did. Since the PTS forum got wiped, everybody took their conversations over to general discussion where they can't get wiped, and the battle's been raging since Tuesday. And they redid all the math on dark projects, and they redid all the math on the frameworks, and there's been no evidence that the drops have changed, so everyone's just speculating on what Tuesday's going to be like. But yeah, there's no evidence that that the conquest rewards work, that the framework drops are any better, that the exotics drop from any of the flashpoints like they're supposed to with the changes. That we don't even know if the 50 mil is the real guild ship price.
No.
You know, we don't even know if those framework prices are going to stay the same, because they're not telling anybody anything. So, just reading all the theory back and forth and recording it all, because in case it all gets wiped out, or 10 years from now when people are playing 2 Star Wars MMOs from now, they're all going to read this and laugh. Because I don't think this MMO is going to be around for 2 more years. So, in fact, I think I did a video, or no, I didn't do a video about that. I did a post about that, which I think got deleted, where Clone Wars Adventures was only around for 2 years. SWG was only around for about 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this game's already been around for 2.5 if you don't count the 4 years of development and redevelopment. So, if it would actually be a miracle if it was around for 2 more years. If it's around for more than 2 years, I would be floored at the rate it's going. I mean, Clone Wars Adventures was a better game than this.
Never played Clone Wars Adventures. Couldn't comment.
They had player housing. You could have Tatooine apartments.
Galaxies.
Yeah, it did. I know.
And
you guys had ship
vendors
PvP.
And all of that ages ago. I can't see what
yeah.
the problem was getting it to work this time around.
Yeah. I don't think anybody from this played SWG. I mean, developers.
No.
But I don't know how many SWG videos are out there, for example, and so
Not many.
yeah, that's the problem.
But there's not many.
That's the same problem with Darkspore. I know it's not an MMO, but it's 4-player co-op, beat 'em up, shoot 'em up, and there's not very many videos of that either. And there's a lot of games like that where there wasn't a lot of documentation, and so I just think it's fun to just document the shit out of this clusterfuck train wreck, because someday we're going to be reading this, just laughing our asses off, going, TOR, I remember that game. Boy, they had every opportunity. They had every damn opportunity, and they squandered all of it, rehashing the same content again. And then our poor precious Galactic Starfighter will be gone. I don't think I'll miss any of the rest of this game. What would you miss the most?
Galactic Starfighter.
Yeah,
it would have to be.
Yeah.
That is about it.
Yeah. Oh, and speak of the devil, I just pulled up a forum thread that said, why not have GSF versus guild ships in space?
Oh.
And I was just talking to one of the other guildies, the guy that I can't remember his name, but the new guy. I just call him new guy until there's somebody newer, and then I have to remember his name. But we were talking about GSF versus guild ships and how we would do it. is there would be 2 stages, and I documented this whole thing, but of course it got deleted in the wipe. But you would there'd be 2 stages. You'd fight in the upper atmosphere, like in orbit. That'd be stage 1. And then if they got past you, the stage 2 would be as you're plummeting towards the Earth, trying to fight them off. And then it would stop just above the planet, where you'd be fighting them, like dog fighting, you know, throughout the planet, and you'd have to hold them off for a certain amount of time. And then if you lost, then they took the planet over. And
well, no, then if they lost, then it went to the Conquest boss. That's your final stage of your Void Star run, basically thing.
Yep.
And then,
that's right.
If you get the commander and do all of that, well, we can still spawn in and defend our commander.
Yeah.
Then you get the planet.
You'd have one outside the gate of your fortress, and then one in the
Beast
courtyard
of a person. Yeah.
Yeah, one at the gate and one in the courtyard. But you know, they just squander it all, even though everybody thinks it's a good idea. Oh, and then the other thing he came up with is he said, if you could beat their ship, though, then what would happen is you'd board their ship and kill them all and break all their shit. Just like plant explosives or whatever and just demolish everything, and then just leave their guild ship in ruins. Like, that's what you get.
Yeah, breaks into boarding party flashpoint, and then you're on their ship running around.
Don't ever come back, breaking your ship. That'll teach you.
Missed opportunities.
Oh, I know. I think that's what the name of this video is going to be. Like, for example, why can't Jelvik, why can't they just take that NPC and put him somewhere where people can get to him, so we don't have to wait 6 months? Come on, how is this shit really that hard? I refuse to believe that it's really that hard to do these things. Like the whole 25 NPC thing. I keep reading post after post after post after post. Why not just reduce player occupancy, and then like a little throttle button, a little sliding scale.
Have a slide bar that just lets you pick your own ratio between players and NPCs.
I'm never going to have anybody in my damn... I just want it so I have a place to
20
go.
20 people tops. If you've got 10 to 20 in there, you think you're doing quite well.
Yeah, then the rest of the server's not going to have anybody in it.
And if you do decide to have a party, then you just slide the scale back down, get rid of some of your NPCs, and allow 50 in there.
Yeah, or it could just turn them down to like 1 frame per second or something. I mean, they already...
presentation.
But that's already in the game. If you're on the one side of the fleet looking at the other side, like in a cantina, you notice the little hologram girls. Mm-hmm. They break down to like 2 or 3 frames per second or whatever, and it was actually the 3DS that started doing that in Merc's 3DS, which actually made the game even more horrifying, because there'd be like a giant chainsaw guy chasing you at like 2 or 3 frames per second, which is about the most horrifying thing I could ever imagine. I mean, it was like shut the damn game off scary, because you knew he was going to one hit you, but he's moving at you at like only a couple frames per second. It's terrifying. But anyway, why don't they just do that? Why do they have to have the stupid pop-up thing with the speeders? 25. I was looking at my spreadsheet. I'm at over 200 speeders and pets now, and yes, some of those are those legacy ones. Mm-hmm. But over 200, I'm only going to be able to have 25, including companions. And by the way, there's like over 50 companions. So, what? And they're freaking holograms on top of that. Ah, so irritating. And then you have the stupid ships being the wrong scale, and I don't know, I just want to record all this, because someday somebody's going to watch this and they're just going to go, wow, that is how to not make a damn game. And like this here, talking about more lost opportunities. Why when you're playing Galactic Starfighter, don't like all your Republic guys just have access to the same ships and everything?
Yeah.
How hard is that?
Make it legacy bound, not character bound. Yeah, I can't see why they've done that.
Or at least faction bound. But there's a couple of imp ships that Lancer would really, really love.
Oh yeah,
that
sorry,
he's
yeah,
never
faction.
There's a but there's like one or two where I'm like, Lancer would fly that ship, but he can't because it's on imp side, so he can't run and go steal one. Give me a break.
I'm sure there'd be one on the black market, no matter which faction it originally comes from. The old Hut market would sell it either side. If you got enough credits, I'd get you one.
Oh, I know. Like, the Huts aren't like, no, we can't do that. Ho, 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 ho. Yeah, whatever. And why aren't there color crystals for Surge? Freaking stupid. They want people getting more Surged. Isn't there diminishing returns anyway? I mean, what's the worst that we could possibly do?
Yeah, if you stack Surge, you've got to stack Crit. It's all one-on-one, but yeah, I've noticed that.
Oh, they could just get rid of auto-crit moves. Get rid of moves that auto-crit, and then it would balance. I mean, they say they care about balance so bad, but they don't do things like that. Ooh, I like this one. I'm getting really sick and tired of the I'm getting really sick and tired threads. Ooh, okay, this one's good. Oh, another wino asking why we all can't get along. Oh, I like this one. When is the casino thing over? August 19th, 2014. Oh. I wonder if they are going to shut the casino off on Tuesday. I mean, they should have shut it off.
There's still someone who originally started playing it that still hasn't got their Rancor yet.
Oh, almost everybody. There's not actually that many people that got Rancors from that thing, at least on our server. That's why you see everyone running around with Vectron Magnuses, but no Rancor. In fact, there's a lot of people that didn't even get those. There's people with the other Rancor, because actually the other day the other Rancor was pretty cheap, but then it shot right back up again. Yeah. That was like down to like 5 mil, and now they're all gone. So I know people are buying them. In fact, all the Revan stuff is down to like 5 mil again too. I think that everybody's selling cartel packs like even faster than before. I think Reddit needs to go away, which is completely unrelated to TOR, but I'm sick of reading TOR stuff on the forums and then people talking about Reddit. I want to say, look, if it's not on the TOR forum, don't bring it up. I don't want to hear about Reddit.
It's only hearsay.
It is. Or
if
they're
it
just
ain't official, then it ain't official.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, somebody's just quote-unquote leaking information, and those people can just... Either you're going to release info or you're not. Like, supposedly, the 3.0 info is supposed to be coming out in the next couple weeks. But I'm not holding my breath, because I know they're going to milk 2.9 for as long as they can. Oh, I like this one. TOR will experience the first ever overnight economic crash of an MMO. Yeah.
That sounds like fun, doesn't it?
TOR is on the precipice of being the first MMO in history to induce an artificial recession. It's complex in its intricacies, while it's not so dissimilar from real-life economics. Yeah. Actually, that's not entirely true, because that happened in UO. When, I can't remember what expansion it was, but basically when people's backpacks started falling off onto the ground, and people and like the entire game basically just got hacked and destroyed like overnight. But they reverted that, thankfully. Oh, and then there was the time in Diablo 3 where people could just add infinite amount of zeros at the end of their bank account.
Well, that's always a good one with business.
Yeah, so this won't be the first one, it'll just be the most recent one. But they're talking about how money gets recycled around and around and around.
Back in 2 seconds.
Yeah. TOR has minimal money sinks. TOR is about to extract tens of billions of units of currency from its game system overnight. No other MMO has done this. Oh, well, I disagree with them because
Back.
yeah, they're basically saying that everybody's going to spend all their money all at the same time on Tuesday, and there will be like no money in the game, which is so not true.
Yeah.
Because that's actually what happened when casinos came out. If you remember that, remember like the price of gold or the price of gold credit farmer money like drove up and up and up and up and up, and it leveled itself out in about a week. It was actually less than a week. It was about 4 days. Even if everybody spent their money overnight, all of it, they would all still be fine. Then, because they'll just stop. They'll go do however it was they made money before. And even if there's like nobody to buy anything on the GTN, it means everything will cancel. Everybody will go do dailies. Or they'll go buy it, or they'll go steal it.
And then things will turn back to as they were.
Oh, yeah. That's not even a big deal. Like, I remember, I actually did hit absolute zero twice in this game. And I remember the first thing I did was I went on my ship, did like one space mission, and then I had enough money to go back to what I was doing. And I remember both times I hit zero for the same reason. I was trying to buy mats and stuff to go from a blue recipe to a purple recipe, which is deceivingly expensive if you keep failing.
Yeah,
and I did.
Be
I was
lucky,
like,
and I've had some ridiculous fail rates on that.
Yeah, I was at like 20 or 30.
Yeah, I had to.
And it
promised a friend I'd make an earpiece for him and certain schematics to drop, and it took me 36 blues before the right purple one dropped, and that ate through my resources, and I couldn't explain to him how much that actually cost me, and I couldn't gather that much resources that quickly.
Yeah.
So I had to buy them off market, and he was like, "But you said it wouldn't." I was like, "Normally, yeah, it wouldn't cost that much, but yours cost." It would probably work out twice what. And I just went, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
It's an old work colleague I used to work with, and we'd joined the game together. And I just like, it's only money. Don't worry about it. But just remember that cost me.
Yeah.
And when he left, he did give me like 1.5 million credit. He gave me everything in his bank when he left the game. So it's all. But yeah, there's no way of knowing whether it's going to take you 5 runs or 35 runs to actually get the right purple schematic.
Yep. And then that's, well, it's bad just doing barrels and stuff, but if you're doing like mods, or if you're doing
barrels and stuff and armor and stuff, there's only it only goes purple. There's no variation to it, so that's not a great deal to get them to turn. But when you're doing like an enhancement, when you're doing an implant or an earpiece, or something that has multiple possibilities, like it could stack defense, it could stack crit, surge, and you're trying to get it to run a certain way, I've got an earpiece that triple drops on alacrity and critical, and it's got like it's 156 with like 103 critical chance on it, something like that. Because I just kept re-rolling it until I had the right combination of what it was. It's nearly as good as a tier 2 or tier 1 PvP outfit that is now, but it just misses that expertise on it. But that was a fluke getting that to drop, and once it dropped twice I thought I was going to keep re-rolling the same blue until I got it to drop again. But you can work it to your advantage if you've got the resources to do it.
Yep, and that is how I got broke. Twice. Yeah. And I never did that again. And now I have so many... And because I never did it again, I ended up with so many resources that it can now never happen again. Thankfully.
Yeah, I learnt my lesson. I never got broke, but I got down to... I think I got down to less than like 10k on most of my characters. And I was like, yeah, I got to stop doing that. Because that's when I was first started, and I was trying to level 6 ults at the same time to get their crew skills up so I could self-sustain a group, make everything I needed up to 156 and get Master Craftsman achievement out of it. But yeah, that nearly broke me, but didn't quite. I've never been properly 0 credits in it.
That was probably also before travel was so expensive that you could actually get zeroed out just by flying to a planet. Unreal.
Yeah, I've got that's caught me out a few times when I've been low on credits. You fly around a few places and even take a taxi. That costs money. When
it didn't used to.
When you're down to low credits, that costs money.
Yeah, that used to essentially be free, and the same thing with flying your ship around. Essentially, used to be free, and then they changed it. 1,000 adds up really fast if you use your ship.
Yeah,
and I love using my ship. And it just
1,000 doesn't get you very far.
Yeah, I mean, or you can just pay the 50,000 to teleport around forever. So go figure.
The only place it's free is always travelling back to the Imperial Fleet's always free.
Yep.
No matter where you are, that's a free journey straight back to Fleet, but getting anywhere.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna shut this vid off, but I think I recorded enough forum stuff to do a good time stamp or whatever you want to call it. But I try to do like one of these a week-ish, and I hadn't done one. But I keep seeing the same stuff. Like, actually, here's another one talking about how there should be guild capital shit PvP. Here's another one that said when you put people on ignore, they should actually be ignored.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and that comes up every couple weeks, and they just refuse for ignore to actually completely work.
There should be 2 parts to that. They should go on ignore properly, and you should have an ignore
comment
message box on your ignore list. A line next to it where you can add a note.
Yeah,
you can on friends and everything and things like that. So why can't you on ignore?
Because they need to make an ignore list and they need to make an enemy list. I'm joking. But I've thought about that before. The other thing, ignore needs to ignore the whole damn account. Forever. It doesn't matter if they make a new character. And there needs to be guild ignore. So they can't just get their little effing piece of shit friends to just start messaging you. And then anybody that person messages, it should put that person on ignore too. I'm serious.
You would end up ignoring the whole...
I don't care.
It would be like a virus wave.
Yes.
As soon as you clicked OK on your character, it just, like on the Matrix, when he punches forward, there'd be like an energy bubble that goes... around the whole of fleet, and then everyone goes on ignore.
And it would crash the server every time I put somebody on ignore.
Yeah,
but I don't care. That's what you should have. People can so easily circumvent ignore. I can't, and you guys do it too. I put somebody on ignore, and you guys immediately start telling me what they say. I don't want to know. You've done it, and Estinio's done it. Everybody on the server does it. This guy that we ganked, in fact, I think I even have a video. We killed that infamous guy. He immediately, in fact, and we left that instance of Rakul. He started telling other people, and he was on the other faction, started telling people on my faction to message me. And when I ignored them too, he got on my YouTube channel and started messaging me.
Okay, he went full on it.
When you put somebody on ignore, it should fucking ignore them and anybody that has to do with them. Ignore should mean ignore. And this game just has no... Like, when I ignore somebody on YouTube, even then it doesn't ignore all their accounts. But at least I can sit there and I can eventually get all of their accounts. You can't do that in TOR. They'll be messaging you forever. You know, or they'll just find you and emote spam you, because then you've got to shut your emotes off if you don't want to get emotes spammed. It's just... This game is just... they really need to play their own game. They were talking about how we believe that dark projects are a fair amount of reference, of materials, because this stuff's supposed to be hard to get. It's like, did they not read the thread? Like, do you realize how many of those materials you need just to get, like, your guild ship decoration? It's like millions of dollars, millions of credits worth, just to get a stupid little pint-sized starship. Like, they don't get it. They've never had to put somebody on ignore before.
No, on developer servers, I don't suppose you have to.
No, you don't. They don't put each other on ignore. They just probably fire you, I guess, if they don't like what you say. You know, they don't have, like someone on here says they need to upgrade the guild limit or whatever. The people in BioWare don't have to worry about guild limits, because they don't need... Yeah. They don't have to worry about credit limits. They don't have to worry about...
No, I think 500 is enough for a guild limit. Otherwise you'd have super guilds and go on that.
Are you being sarcastic?
Say again?
Are you being sarcastic?
Well, sort of.
Okay, because you can have like 14 characters on your account, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so... let's see, so it's 500 divided by... What did I say? 14 characters?
14.
That's only 35 players with the maxed out alts in a guild.
Yeah, but you never have 35 players with every character, and because you'd have... That would mean they'd all have to be on one side. One faction.
No,
where you wouldn't. You'd have... People would want to have... They'll be on either side, neither faction, so you wouldn't have that.
Okay.
More like between... on a 500, I'd say it's probably more like between 100 and 150 people. You'd have some free to play. You'd only have 2 characters. Some preferred that you'd only have 6. And they wouldn't all be subscribers that would have maxed out characters only on your guild.
Yeah, and that's what people were talking about when they did the math on how long it would take to get a maxed out guild ship, is they were estimating about 130 players. But 130 players with 3 or 4 alts in the guild, and you've maxed out your guild list already. But yeah, if it was 500 uniques, you could have a guild the size of an entire server. I agree.
Yeah.
But if they just said you can have infinite guild members, as long as it's account-based and not alt-based, then that would probably be fair. In fact, you could even trim that number down. You could say you could only have 100 people mains.
You mean trim it down from infinity? That's what you do. An infinite number tray.
What do you mean?
You said if you could have an infinite number of characters, no, let's trim it down a bit. Well, you couldn't go much more than
I meant
infinite.
alts. I meant infinite alts, but only 100 mains.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't think of the right word. Because this... in Blizzard, they would be called real IDs. Where you could only have like 100 real IDs, but people could have as many alts as they wanted. But if you had 2 accounts, each of those accounts would be a real ID, and those would count against that limit. In UO, we had the same thing. But yeah, this game doesn't have that, so it's kind of hard to find the right word.
Yeah.
But I'd be okay with like 100 accounts, but like infinite, characters. But oh well, it's never going to happen because they get so fixated on these imaginary numbers and they never revisit them.
No, we got to remember that. I think that 500 cap was before we had mega servers, so to speak, before they merged all the servers and forced everyone to play together. So really, they should have raised the cap, but they merged all the servers together.
Absolutely,
or maybe not raised, but at least addressed the problem and looked at how it was put in.
Yep. They should have checked out a lot of things when they did that. Like, people are talking about cross-server PvP, and, that's going to be probably another year if we get it at all. And they said, well, if you're not going to allow cross-server PvP, why don't you just allow free character transfers? Maybe, like, one character a month or something. That way, if everybody wanted to go to Bastion, just give them all server frickin' transfers once a month.
Yeah.
And so they can all exodus over there if they want, and in a month, when they're tired, they all just come back. Or if they want to go to the PvP or the PvE server because they want to go do Nightmare Dread Palace.
Not have to worry about being fucking...
Yeah. They just rumble over there, join up with the PvE guild, go do all their nightmare shit that they want, and in a month, they just come back to the RP server where, everybody actually wants to be, that can think for themselves. Nobody wants to be on the PvP server. Nobody wants to be on the PvE server. Unless they are completely indecisive bitches. Then they're on the PvE server. Most people want to be on either the PvP or the RP server. So, that's my solution.
Yeah, that would work. I'd agree with that.
Just let them...
slowly,
yeah.
month on month, transfer, and allow it to be US transfers as well.
Oh, that's... I can't... When you told me that, I was like, you've got to be joking.
It's just, like, it's...
They don't want your money, apparently.
No, absolutely stupid. Oh, come the wrong bloody way. it. You know, on your trooper mission where you've just done... what did I just do before this one? End of chapter 1, and you have to come back to Tatooine to do a mission.